There are many people who are doing business in multiple states. I think that's a topic we should cover for a few minutes and talk about what does that mean if you're doing business in more than one state? What are the rules associated with that? And how do you know if you've triggered something that where maybe you're now out of legal compliance? So let's just talk about that for a minute. First of all, there are so many cool opportunities to do business all over the place. So maybe you have a home office or a commercial office. It's in your home state. So let's just say you live in Washington State, where I am. But then you have a rental property in Oregon or Idaho or Indiana. You've got something, an asset in another state that has value. Maybe you also have some sort of products that you sell on Etsy or eBay, or you have distribution of something that you manufacture in multiple states. What's the difference in owning an asset in another state or selling stuff in another state? So let's cover a couple of those things. Let's do the simple one first. In most cases, if you're selling products, whatever, shampoo or barbecue sauce or something that you've manufactured in your home state's manufacturing plant or something you bought from somewhere else, and you're going to redistribute that around the country. There's something called the Wrigley ruling, which had to do with Wrigley's chewing gum. The government asserted Wrigley's needed to be domiciled or have a foreign registration in every single state where they were selling chewing gum. Wrigley's argued back, well, we don't have nexus with the state. We're not in the state. We don't have employees in the state. We don't have an office in the state. We just have chewing gum on store shelves that's being sold. And they fought over this. And finally, it was decided, no, indeed, Wrigley's only had to be involved with the tax scheme and the registration of the company where they had offices, employees, and so on. And the other states where the only footprint they had there was what was on the store shelves, they didn't have to pay taxes. So that sort of decouples you from having to be registered in other states where you just have products being sold in your distribution model. For most of us, thing that's going to be probably more common is owning assets in various jurisdictions. And so real estate is a huge one of those. I see that all the time. There's so many people investing in real estate to rent houses, flip houses, buy commercial buildings, convert office buildings into condos. And I've got so many clients that are doing this all over the country. So there you have an interesting situation. If you have an asset and you want to protect the asset, you will very often take that, let's just call it a house or a commercial building, and put it into a corporation or an LLC. If it's a physical asset like real estate, probably going to be an LLC. The LLC will be in that state, and now you have a business in that state that needs to comply with the state's reporting as a local company. Depending on if you have multiple assets in one entity in one state, you might all of a sudden trigger having to file as a foreign corporation in another state. To just own the asset, you're probably going to have it in an LLC in the home state. But if you are trying to hold multiple assets in one LLC and they're in various jurisdictions, you're almost certainly going to have to apply to each one of those states where you own rental property, let's say, and become a foreign corporation doing business in their state. Then you're going to be paying the fees from wherever the entity is domiciled and any state fees associated with that particular asset in that particular state. It's not wildly complicating, but it is a little complicated. The complicating nature is that every one of those states may have different tax rules, different tax rates, different rules about the business and how a foreign business has to report income in that state, which is why if you get into a situation where you're doing business in multiple states and there may be rules around foreign ownership, foreign company in that state. Remember, if I'm in Oregon and I am doing business like having a footprint in Washington, right across the river, my Oregon business needs to file with Washington and say, we're here, we're a foreign company doing business in your state, and we know now we have to, beside what we do in Oregon, we've got to comply with everything in Washington as well. Don't just think, oh, it's just a small thing. Oh, it's no big deal. Oh, it's just one little rental house. Who's ever going to know? I'm losing money. No. Don't fool yourself. Don't lull yourself into ignorant complacency, because those are the times when your assets can get taken away from you, or you can get big penalties. You can end up owing a bunch of multiple years of taxes, with penalties and interest, it's really important that you talk to somebody who has substantial authority, a lawyer or somebody who specializes in asset protection when you're moving into other states to make sure that you can learn the rules. Also, talk to your tax advisor about what is this going to do? Is this seemingly good idea going to create a good tax circumstance for you or a negative tax circumstance? Or it's a benign tax benefit or tax circumstance, but you still need to be reporting. These are so important, guys. Don't think because you're small, you need to, or just getting started, that you need to skip these pieces of due diligence. It's the things that you go, oh, I'll get to it later, that invariably come back and start to haunt you in the future. It's happened to me. I've let things get behind. I've let things kind of slip for a while because I was busy with other cooler stuff, and then it comes back and it bites you. Now you've been warned. Now you know that there are rules. If you're going across state lines, there are rules that if you own assets in other states, besides where the major kind of mothership company is, you may need to set up an entity in that jurisdiction to protect your asset. As soon as you do that, now you're going to have to be disclosing that you're there and that you're doing work and learning the best route to manage any sort of tax liability between these companies. The good news is using multiple states and having a multi-jurisdiction strategy can be a huge benefit. You just need to know the rules. If you don't know the rules, if you want to know more, write in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the video. You can always write to me directly at aaronyoung@laughlinusa.com. We'll answer your questions. I hope that helps. If you have more questions or comments, put them in the comments below, and let's get the information out to lots of people. But until we see each other again, go out and make it a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show.